Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. No matter what time you're watching, welcome, and let me know in the comments. What city are you watching this story from? If this story popped up for you, it's because it deserves to be heard. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more like it. The earth was cracked like my heart. December 2023, and rain hadn't shown its face around these parts of Harmony Creek, Colorado, for 2 months. The skinny cattle huddled in the meager shade of the scrub oak, and there I was, standing in the middle of the pasture, watching everything wither away just like I was withering inside. 3 years. 3 years since Mary left. 3 years since the house became a place of echoes and shadows. 3 years, counting the days on the kitchen calendar, marking off the dates like scratching at scars that won't heal. Sweat ran down my sunburnt face. 52 years old, gray hair under an old leather cowboy hat, hands calloused from so much work in the land. The same hands that held hers when she said she was leaving, not for another man, no, for heaven, for the place where I couldn't follow. Lung cancer, the doctor had said back in Denver, 6 months tops. Mary lasted 4. Now I was there, alone, watching the pasture turn to ash, the creek dry up, the birds disappear. It was as if the whole world had decided to die with me. The wind blew hot, stirring up the red dust that stuck to the skin, the clothes, the throat. Everything tasted like drought. Everything smelled like abandonment. The ranch was 200 acres. Wasn't much, but it was enough to get by. Raising cattle, a little corn, potatoes. Mary took care of the garden, the chickens, made cheese to sell at the Saturday farmers market in Harmony Creek. Now the chickens roamed free, the garden turned to weeds, and I ate canned food I bought at the town's general store. I went back to the house when the sun started to give a break. A simple clapboard house, 3 bedrooms, front porch with a hammock tied between 2 posts. The hammock where Mary liked to lie in the late afternoon to watch the cardinals. Now it just swayed empty in the wind. I went into the kitchen, the same smell as always. Stale coffee, stored spices, loneliness. I opened a can of sardines, grabbed a day-old loaf of bread, and sat at the table where we ate dinner together every day for 28 years of marriage. The silence was so heavy that I could hear my own heart beating. I picked up her picture on the table, Mary smiling with that gentle way she had, her small, bright eyes, her brown hair pulled back in a simple bun. The photo had been taken at our niece's Sweet 16 party back in Aspen. Mary looked beautiful that day. She always looked beautiful. "Hi, Mary," I said softly, like I did every night. "Today, the cattle are suffering with this drought. Remember how we used to worry when the rain didn't come? Now, I worry alone." I put the photo away and went to the bedroom. The queen-size bed that became a twin bed, the closet where her clothes were still hanging because I didn't have the heart to move them. Her smell still lived there, faint but still there. The scent of honeysuckle soap and talcum powder. I lay down on my side of the bed, the right side. Her side remained untouched, with the pillow the way she left it. Sometimes I reached out at night, looking for the warmth that was no longer there. The sounds of the night came slowly, crickets chirping, an owl hooting in the distance, the wind rustling the leaves of the maple tree in the backyard. Sounds I knew by heart, but that now seemed empty, like music playing for an audience that's gone home. I closed my eyes and tried to sleep. But sleep hadn't come easy since she left. I lay there, counting the hours on the wristwatch that made noise in the dark, thinking about the life that was, the life that could have been, the life that was left. Outside, a dog barked in the distance. Must have been thunder belonging to Old Man Johnson on the neighboring ranch, 2 miles away. Out here in the country, you hear a long way. You live a long way apart. You suffer a long way apart. I turned over and looked at her photo on the nightstand. Mary smiled at me in the dark, as she always smiled. Even when the disease had taken over, even when the strength was gone, she still smiled. She said I would be okay, that I would find a way to move on. "You promised, John," she had said on her last day, her voice weak. "You promised you would take care of the ranch. You promised you'd take care of yourself." I promised. But no one taught me how to keep a promise when the ground disappears from under your feet. The wind hit the window, a hot, dry wind that brought no relief, just more red dust, more silence, more loneliness. I closed my eyes and waited for the day to dawn. Another day like the others, another day without her, another day not really knowing what there is to wake up for. But still, I woke up, every day, because I had promised. And because deep down, way down, something in me still hoped that life would make sense again, even not knowing how, even not knowing when. The rooster crowed early, as always, 5:30 in the morning, the same stubborn rooster that Mary said she was going to turn into soup one day. She never did. Now he crowed only for me, and I let him. It was the only conversation I had in the morning. I got up slowly, my joints complaining. 52 years weighed more after the loneliness arrived. I went to the kitchen, put the coffee on to brew on the wood stove. The good smell rose in the air, mixed with the smoke that came out the window. Outside, the sky was still dark, but you could already see the clear line on the horizon. I drank the bitter coffee without sugar. Mary always complained that I drank coffee too strong, said it would be bad for my heart. Now I drank it how I wanted, but the taste wasn't the same. Nothing was the same. I went out to take care of the animals. The chickens were already scratching in the yard. The rooster strutted around full of himself, the feathers on his neck puffed out. I threw corn on the ground and they came running, clucking loudly. It was the noisiest part of my day. "Morning, girls," I said to them like I always did. "Looks like it's going to be another scorcher." The chickens didn't answer. They just scratched and ate. I went to the corral to let the cattle out. 17 head, thin because of the drought. They mooed softly when they saw me coming, knowing I was bringing the mineral salt. I opened the gate, and they went slowly out to the pasture, their tails swishing to swat away the flies. The sun was already rising when I went back to the house, a strong, yellow-red sun that promised another day of relentless heat. The thermometer on the porch read 82 degrees, and it wasn't even 7 in the morning. I took a shower in the electric shower that squealed, put on the clothes to go to town, clean jeans, blue button-down shirt, leather shoes that pinched a little. Mary always said I looked handsome dressed up. Now I dressed up just out of habit. I grabbed the old pickup truck, a 1998 Ford F-150, white, with the paint peeling from the sun. Mary said that pickup was older than Job's patience, but it still ran. It still took me where I needed to go. The engine coughed before starting. It always did that, then it purred like a satisfied cat. I left the ranch on the dirt road that led to the paved highway, red dust rising behind me like a cloud of smoke. Harmony Creek was 10 miles away. Small town, about 3,000 inhabitants. Everyone knew each other. The kind of place where today's news becomes bakery gossip for a week. I liked it that way. Mary liked it too. I stopped first at Val's general store. I needed a few things: coffee, sugar, rice, beans, some ground beef. Donna, his wife, always treated me kindly. "Hey there, John. How are you doing?" she asked, weighing the ground beef on the old scale. "Getting by, Donna, just getting by. This drought's really hitting hard, huh? My brother, who has a place up in Estes Park, is suffering too." "Yeah, it's tough." She looked at me with those motherly eyes that see a wounded son. "John, you need to get out more, see people. It's not good to be alone all the time." I nodded, but didn't answer. What was I going to say? That seeing people hurt me, that seeing other families together reminded me of what I lost. I paid for the groceries and left. I stopped at the pharmacy, bought some back pain medicine. I said hello to Tony, the owner of the tire shop, who was fixing a tire on the sidewalk. "John, how are the cattle doing?" "Thin, but they're hanging in there. If it rains, things will get better." If it rains. Small town talk. Always about the weather, the rain, the drought, the animals, talk that didn't commit anyone, didn't hurt anyone. It was almost noon when I decided to go back. The sun was high, the asphalt melting, the air shimmering on the road. I started the pickup and headed back. But when I got to the fork in the road, where I always turned right to get on the road to my ranch, something made me stop. Up ahead, to the left, there was an old dirt road. A road I knew but hadn't used in years. It was a longer way that went behind the dense woods, skirted some small hills, and came out near the boundary with Old Man Johnson's ranch. I don't know why, but I turned the steering wheel to the left. The little road was worse than I remembered. Full of potholes, weeds growing in the middle, low branches scraping on the roof of the pickup. But something was pulling me there, as if an invisible force had taken the reins and was leading me. The road went up and down, winding between the scrub oak and the trees of the plains, yellow wildflowers still blooming, even with the drought, large pines with wide crowns. The smell of the woods was different from the smell of the pasture. It was greener, damper, more alive. I drove about 3 miles when I saw the barn. It was there on the right side of the road, half hidden by the vegetation. An old, abandoned barn with broken tiles and walls covered in ivy. I knew that place. It had belonged to the late Zeke Peterson, who died about 10 years ago. The heirs sold the land, but left the barn behind. Nobody wanted it. I was going to pass right by when I heard a noise. I stopped the pickup, turned off the engine. Everything was quiet. Only the sound of the wind in the leaves, the song of the birds, the distant hum of some insect. But then I heard it again, a faint creaking, wood hitting in the wind. It was coming from the barn. I got out of the pickup. The heat hit my face like a slap. I walked slowly to the barn, stepping on dry leaves that crackled under my feet. The sound continued, low, irregular, as if something was moving inside. The barn door was ajar, hanging on one hinge only, swaying slowly. That's where the creaking came from. But there was something else, a sound I couldn't identify, like a muffled groan, like a suffocated cry for help. I pushed the door. It creaked loudly, protesting. The smell that came out from inside was almost unbearable. Mold, rat urine, rotten straw, dead thing. I covered my nose with my hand and went in. The midday light came through cracks in the roof, illuminating particles of dust that danced in the air. There were bales of old hay stacked up, pieces of rotten wood scattered on the floor, rags of dirty cloth hanging on rusty nails. Everything covered in cobwebs, everything smelling of abandonment. I was going to turn around when I saw it. In the darkest corner of the barn, between 2 moldy bales, something moved. I got closer, stepping slowly, carefully. And that's when I saw her. A girl, young, 19, 20 years old maybe, lying on the dirty floor, motionless, tied by the wrists and ankles with old dirty rope. Her clothes all torn, the dress that was once blue now brown from so much dirt. Her face pale, sweaty, her eyes closed. Her brown hair stuck to her forehead, her whole body scratched, bruised. But the worst was yet to come. On the other side of the barn, coming from the cracks in the wall, a horde of rats was approaching. There were many, dozens. They were coming across the floor, along the wooden beams, down from the bales. Some were already near her feet. Others were gnawing on the hem of her dress. One climbed on her leg, and she moved, groaning softly. My heart leapt. The shock was so great that I almost fell backwards. But then came the anger. An anger I hadn't felt in years. "Get out of here!" I shouted, picking up a piece of wood from the floor. "Get out! Get out of here!" I started hitting the floor, scaring the rats away. They ran, squeaking, came back, ran again. Some stubborn ones stayed circling, but at a distance. I threw the piece of wood away and ran to the girl. I knelt on the dirty floor beside her. I touched her face carefully. It was hot, high fever, but there was life. I felt the weak pulse in her neck. It was still beating. "Miss," I called softly. "Miss, can you hear me?" She opened her eyes slowly, brown eyes, scared, empty. She looked at me without understanding. She tried to speak, but only a hoarse groan came out. "Calm down," I said, taking the pocket knife out of my pocket. "I'm going to get you out of here." I cut the ropes on her wrists first. They were tight. They had left purple marks on her skin. Then I cut the ones on her ankles. She tried to move, but she couldn't. She was too weak. I picked her up in my arms. She was light, very light, as if her body had given up before her soul. I felt the bones under her skin, the weight of someone who hadn't eaten in days. I left the barn with her in my arms. Outside, the sun was strong, but the air was clean. She blinked in the light, turned her face to my chest. I put her on the passenger seat of the pickup, carefully. I took off my shirt and covered her. I started the engine and drove away from there, fast, as if I was running away from the devil. During the drive back to the ranch, she was quiet. Every now and then, she groaned softly. Every now and then, she opened her eyes and looked at me as if she wanted to be sure she wasn't dreaming. "Hold on tight," I said, driving faster than I should on the dirt road. "It'll be over soon. You're safe now." I don't know if she heard me, but I kept talking. To her, to me, to someone. When we got to the ranch, the sun was already going down. I carried her into the house, to the guest room that we used when the family came to visit. I put her on the bed, covered her with a clean sheet. That's when I saw her condition properly. The scratches on her face, on her arms, the marks of the ropes, the dirty clothes stinking, the hair matted with sweat and dirt, the lips chapped with thirst. I heated water on the stove, grabbed a clean cloth, neutral soap. I gave her a bath carefully, like caring for a sick child. She was quiet, letting me. Every now and then she trembled, but she let me. I dressed her in an old nightgown of Mary's, made of soft cotton. I combed her hair gently. I cleaned the wounds with hydrogen peroxide. She grimaced in pain, but didn't complain. Then I went to the kitchen to make some chicken broth, something light that wouldn't hurt her empty stomach. When I went back to the room, she was awake, looking at me. "Water?" she asked, her voice weak, almost a whisper. I brought a glass of water. I helped her drink slowly. On the second sip, she looked me right in the eyes. "Why?" she started, but stopped. "What? Why did you help me?" The question caught me off guard. I was at a loss for a moment, not knowing what to say. Why indeed? Why did I stop on that road? Why did I go into that barn? Why didn't I pretend I didn't see? Because it was the right thing to do, I finally answered. She closed her eyes. A tear rolled down her face. "Thank you," she whispered. I stayed up all night in a chair next to the bed, watching every breath, every movement. Every now and then she moaned in her sleep. Every now and then she called out for someone. "Mom," she would say, "Mom, help me." Outside, the night fell slowly over the plains. The crickets chirped, the wind swayed the trees. Familiar sounds, but that night they seemed different, as if the whole world had changed since morning. And maybe it had. I woke up with a sore neck. I'd fallen asleep in the chair, my head hanging to the side. The sun was already coming in through the window of the room, but it was a different sun, softer, lower. It must have been about 7 in the morning. I looked at the bed. She was still asleep. Her breathing was calmer, less labored. Her face had gained a little color. The marks from the injuries were still there, but they didn't seem so serious in the daylight. I got up slowly, cracking my joints. I went to the kitchen to make coffee. Outside, the chickens were already scratching in the yard. The rooster was crowing late. Life went on the same, but something had changed. The house was no longer empty. I went back to the room with a cup of coffee in my hands. She was awake, looking at the ceiling. When she saw me, she tried to sit up in bed. "Easy," I said, coming closer. "You're still weak." "How long did I sleep?" "All night. It's 7 in the morning." She looked around as if she was getting her bearings. The room was simple: twin bed, old wooden wardrobe, a dresser with a mirror. On the wall, a photo of Mary when she was young, smiling under a maple tree. Where am I? In my house, my ranch. You're safe. She nodded slowly, but her eyes were still scared, like those of a wounded animal that doesn't know if it can trust. What's your name? I asked. Anna, she answered softly. Anna Paula. I'm John. John Baptiste Santos. Thank you, Mr. Santos, for what you did. No need to thank me. Anyone would have done the same. She looked at me with a sadness that seemed old, older than her age. No, they wouldn't. I was silent. I didn't know what to say. Anna moved in the bed, trying to get more comfortable, and winced in pain. Does it hurt? A little, but it's better. Are you hungry? She nodded. I went to the kitchen to prepare something light. Chicken soup with rice, like my mother used to make when I was a kid and got sick. The smell rose through the house, a good smell of food made with care. When I went back to the room, Anna was sitting on the edge of the bed, looking out the window. Outside, the cattle grazed in the pasture near the house. The chickens scratched under the maple tree. All normal, all at peace. Here, I said, handing her the bowl. Eat slowly. She took the spoon with hands that trembled a little. She brought it to her mouth. She chewed slowly, as if she had forgotten how to do it. After a few spoonfuls, she stopped. Is it good? It is. It's been a while since I ate real food. How long were you in that place? She stopped eating. She stared at the bowl, stirring the soup with the spoon. I don't know. About 3-4 days, maybe more. I lost track. Who did this to you? Anna was quiet for a long time. Outside, a cardinal sang in the scrub oak tree. The sound reached us clear and cheerful, contrasting with the weight of the conversation. It was my stepfather, she finally said, her voice almost fading. I felt an anger rise in my chest. Anger at those who hurt defenseless people. Anger at those who break trust. But I controlled myself. Anna needed calm, not more violence. Where did you live? In Boulder, with my mom and him. Boulder was about 60 miles from there, a bigger city than Harmony Creek. A place where we went every now and then to do big shopping or take care of things at the bank. And your mother? Anna closed her eyes. 2 tears rolled down her face. She died 6 months ago. Heart attack. I was left alone with him. And he... I started but stopped. I didn't want to push. He was always bad to me. Since he married my mom when I was 12 years old, but while she was alive, he controlled himself. After she died, Anna stopped talking. Her hands were trembling so much that she had to drop the spoon. You don't have to tell me now, I said. Eat first, rest. No, I want to tell you. You saved me. You deserve to know. She took a deep breath, as if preparing to dive into ice water. After my mom died, he changed. He started drinking more, to look at me differently. One day he tried to... She couldn't finish the sentence. I understood without her needing to explain. I felt a tightness in my chest. Anger and sadness mixed. I managed to escape that day. I locked the room, went out the window. I spent the night on the street. When I came back the next day, he was waiting. What did he do? He hit me. He said I was a pest, that I had seduced him, that it was my fault. Anna wiped the tears with the sleeve of her nightgown. I tried to leave home, to look for work, someplace to live, but he wouldn't let me. He locked the door, hid my documents. He said I wasn't good for anything, that nobody would want me. And how did you end up in that barn? The day before yesterday morning, he came home drunk, more drunk than usual. He was angry about something. He said I was a burden in his life, that he was going to get rid of me for good. Anna paused to breathe. The air went in and out heavy, as if each word cost a piece of her soul. He put me in the car by force. He drove to that place. I had never seen that barn before. He tied me up in there and said that the rats would take care of me, that nobody would look for me, that I would turn into animal feed, like the trash I was. I clenched my fists. If that man had been there in front of me at that moment, I wouldn't answer for myself. He left and left me there. I screamed until I was hoarse. I tried to get out of the ropes until my wrists bled, but I couldn't. The rats. They started appearing on the first day, few at first, then more. They gnawed my sandal, the hem of the dress. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die alone, eaten by rats, like he said. Anna stopped talking. She was shaking now, reliving the horror. I approached the bed, sat on the edge. But you didn't die. You're here. You're alive. You're safe. Because of you. Because of God. I just did what any decent person would do. You don't understand. I was giving up. Yesterday morning, when I woke up and saw that the rats were closer, I closed my eyes and asked God to take me soon. I couldn't take it anymore. Anna looked me straight in the eyes. Then you showed up, like an angel. I'm no angel, girl. I'm just an old, lonely rancher. For what I was living, you are. We were silent for a while. Outside, the day was getting warmer, the sun rising slowly, promising another hot day. But inside, something different was happening. A relief, a calm, like after a heavy rain, when the air is clean and the earth breathes. And now, Anna asked, what do you mean? What's going to become of me now? I have nowhere to go. I have nobody. I have nothing. The question hung in the air between us. I hadn't thought about that yet. I was so busy saving her that I didn't stop to think about what came next. But now reality was knocking on the door. Do you have any relatives? Any friends? No. My mum was an only child. My dad died when I was a baby. And friends, he wouldn't let me have friends. How old are you? 19. I turned in September. 19 years old. The age Mary was when we met. The age of a lifetime ahead. But Anna seemed to carry the weight of a lifetime on her back. Listen, I said, looking at her. You can stay here as long as you want. This house has space. It has food. You stay until you feel strong again. Until you decide what you want to do with your life. Would you do that? For me? For you? For anyone who needed it? But you don't even know me. I know what I need to know. You're a good girl who went through something bad. That's enough. Anna started crying again, but this time it wasn't out of sadness. It was out of relief, out of gratitude, out of not being alone in the world anymore. Thank you, she said between sobs. Thank you, Mr. Santos. Stop that, and just call me John, without the Mr. thing. She smiled, the first smile I saw on her face. A small, shy, but genuine smile. Now eat the rest of the soup. You need to get your strength back. She obeyed. She ate slowly, savoring each spoonful. Every now and then she looked at me, as if she wanted to be sure that I was still there, that it wasn't a dream. When she finished, she settled back in bed. The fatigue still weighed on her eyes. Sleep a little more, I said. I'm going to take care of the animals outside. John? What? Thank you. Again. You're welcome, Anna. You're welcome. I left the room and closed the door slowly. Outside, the day was clear and hot. The chickens scratched, the cattle mooed in the distance. Life went on its usual rhythm. But something fundamental had changed. The house was no longer empty, and I wasn't alone anymore. For the first time in 3 years, since Mary left, I had someone to take care of. Someone who needed me. Someone who depended on my kindness. And that, in some strange way, made me feel alive again. 5 days had passed since I brought Anna home. 5 days that had changed the rhythm of the whole ranch. The house had different sounds now. Footsteps in the hallway, water running in the bathroom, voices talking in the kitchen. Sounds I had forgotten how good they were to hear. Anna was recovering well. The marks from the injuries were already healing, her face had gained color, and she was able to walk around the house without dizziness. But what caught my attention the most was something else. She smiled, not always, not without reason, but she smiled. And when she smiled, She seemed like the girl she must have been before life hit hard. That Friday morning, she was in the kitchen when I went down to have coffee. She had gotten up before me and was already stirring something on the stove. The good smell of home cooking filled the whole house. "Good morning," she said, turning around when she heard me coming. "Good morning. What are you doing there?" "Making breakfast, biscuits and gravy. My mom taught me." On the table, there were warm biscuits, sliced sausage, freshly brewed coffee. It had been a while since I had seen a real breakfast table. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to. It's the least I can do after everything that you did for me." We sat down to eat. The biscuits were good, soft, tasty. It reminded me of the one my mother used to make when I was a boy, back on the farm in Boulder. "It's very good," I said. "I'm glad. I was afraid I had lost my touch." "Why would you lose it?" "It's been a while since I cooked for anyone. My stepfather, he didn't like me messing around in the kitchen. He said I only knew how to ruin food." He was wrong. Anna smiled, a small but genuine smile. "Can I ask you something, John?" "Sure." "Are you married? Do you have a family?" The question caught me off guard. In 5 days, we had talked about a lot of things, but I hadn't talked about Mary, not to hide it, but because it still hurt. "I was married. My wife died 3 years ago. I'm so sorry. Mary was a good woman. We lived together 28 years. What was she like?" I looked at her photo on the kitchen table. Mary smiling with that gentle way she had. She was cheerful. She always saw the good side of things. She took care of everyone, of the animals, of the house, of me. This kitchen was her kingdom. Did she do this decoration? I looked around. The flowered curtains on the window, the colorful dish towels, the china plates on the shelf, all chosen with care by Mary. She did. She liked to make everything pretty. "And you didn't have children?" The question that always hurt. The question that reminded me of what we wanted most and never got. We tried a lot, but it didn't happen. Anna was quiet. She must have realized that it was a sensitive subject. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked." "You can ask. It's good to talk about her." "Do you miss her a lot?" "Every day, but..." I paused, looking for the right words. "But these days, with you here, the house doesn't seem so empty." Anna looked at me with those brown eyes that sometimes seemed too old for her age. "I like being here too. It's the first time in a long time that I feel safe." We finished coffee in silence. Outside, the sun was already strong. Another hot day promising. The cattle mooed in the distance asking for water. The chickens scratched in the yard, looking for worms in the dry earth. "I'm going to take care of the animals," I said, getting up. "Do you want to come with me? See what it's like to work here?" "Can I?" "Sure, but put on your hat. The sun's strong." Anna grabbed an old hat of Mary's that was hanging on the porch. It was big on her, but it protected her from the sun. We went out to the yard together. First, we stopped at the chicken coop. The chickens came running when they saw us coming. Anna laughed when they started scratching around our feet. "They're tame," she said, "tame and smart. They know whoever comes brings food." I threw corn on the ground. The chickens tripped over each other to eat. Anna laughed again. It was good to hear that laugh. "How many do you have?" "About 20. They lay eggs every day. Mary sold them at the Saturday market." "And now?" "Now I eat what I need and leave the rest for them. I don't have the patience for the market." We went to the corral. The cattle were in the shade, ruminating slowly. Cows, heifers, an old tame bull. Anna was scared at first. "They don't bite." "No, they're good animals, raised here since they were little." I approached a spotted Holstein cow. She let me pet her head. "This one is Daisy, the gentlest of the herd." Anna approached slowly. She extended her hand, touched the cow carefully. Daisy stood still, chewing. Her skin is soft and warm. In the winter, I sometimes come here just to warm my hands. We spent the whole morning walking around the ranch. I showed Anna the pasture, the almost dry creek, the abandoned garden, the orchard with maple, walnut, and oak trees. She asked questions about everything, as if she had never seen a ranch before. Have you never lived in the country? Texto da parte 2, aqui, já adaptado para inglês com a história se passando nos Estados Unidos. I asked, no, always in the city. My mom worked in a store. I studied. It was city life, really. And did you like it? I did. But this is different. It's more calm. Too calm sometimes. It's good for me. I'm tired of trouble. At lunchtime, we went back to the house. Anna insisted on cooking. She made rice, beans, and pot roast. Simple food, but well done. It reminded me of the Sunday lunches that Mary used to prepare. Where did you learn to cook like that? From my mom. She said every woman had to know how to make good food. Your mom was wise. She was, in a lot of things. She only made one mistake. She married that man. The atmosphere became heavy. Anna lowered her eyes, stirring the food on her plate. I'm sorry, she said. I shouldn't have said that. No need to apologize. It's your story. It's just, sometimes the anger still comes. Anger at him, at the situation, at how things turned out. Anger is normal. What's not normal is what they did to you. Anna looked at me. There were tears in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. Do you think I'll be able to move on, to have a normal life? I think so. You're young, strong. You have a whole life ahead of you. But what if he looks for me? What if he finds out where I am? The question that I had also been thinking, but didn't have the courage to ask. 5 days had passed. Was anyone looking for Anna? Had her stepfather filed a missing persons report with the police? Were we safe there? We'll deal with it if it happens, I said, trying to sound more confident than I felt. But what if... Anna didn't finish the sentence. She stopped talking and looked out the kitchen window. I followed her gaze and saw what had caught her attention. A white pickup truck was coming up the dirt road that led to the ranch, stirring up dust, coming too fast to be a social visit. Anna got up from the table, her face pale with fright. It's him, she whispered. It's him. He found me. My heart raced. I looked better out the window. The truck was still far away, but it was coming in our direction. I couldn't see who was driving. Are you sure? I am. It's his truck, white old. I recognize it. Anna was shaking now. Fear took over her face. The same fear she must have felt in that barn. What do we do? She asked, her voice broken. I looked at her. A 19-year-old girl, scared, asking for protection. I looked at the truck approaching, a man who had abandoned a young woman to die, eaten by rats. Anger rose in my chest, an anger I hadn't felt in years, a good, just, necessary anger. We don't do anything, I said, getting up from the table. I do. John, no, he's dangerous. I can be too. I went to the bedroom, opened the dresser drawer, and took the .38 caliber revolver that I kept there. It was my father's, which was my grandfather's. I had never used it against a person, only against snakes and mad dogs. But today, maybe I needed to. I loaded the gun, put it in my belt. I went back to the kitchen. Anna was standing in the same place, trembling. Listen carefully, I said, grabbing her by the shoulders. You go to the back room, lock the door. Don't leave there until I call you. Understand? And if something happens to you, it won't happen. But what if... Anna, look at me. I waited for her to look me in the eyes. I'm not going to let anyone hurt you ever again. I promise. She nodded, still trembling. She ran to the back of the house. I heard the door slam, the key turn in the lock. The truck was arriving. I could already see the man at the wheel. A fat guy with a beard to do, a ball cap on his head. He looked like someone who drank too much and slept too little. I went out to the porch. I stood there, waiting. My hands sweating a little, my heart beating fast, but firm, firmer than I had felt in years. The truck stopped in the yard, raising a cloud of dust. The engine died. The man got out slowly, looking around. He was taller than I imagined, wider too, but he had that way of trying to intimidate because he was scared deep down. "Good afternoon," he said, approaching the porch. "Good afternoon. I'm looking for a girl, Anna Paula, 19 years old, brown hair. She's my stepdaughter. She ran away from home a few days ago. I don't know any Anna Paula." He looked at me suspiciously, his eyes small, red from drink or anger. "Are you sure? Because I have information that she may be around here." "What kind of information?" "Information from someone who saw her coming up here, in the back of a pickup truck." I lied without blinking. "I don't know anything. There's only me here. Do you mind if I take a look, just to be sure?" "I do mind." He took a step forward, trying to intimidate me, but I didn't back down. "Listen here, old man, I'm not kidding. The girl is underage. It's my responsibility, and I'm going to take her back whether she wants to or not. She's not underage, and even if she were, she's not here. Then you won't mind if I take a look at the house?" "I will mind. This is my property. You have no right to enter." The man smiled, an ugly, threatening smile. "Right? What right? Right to hide a girl? To kidnap a minor? I already said she's not here. And I already said I don't believe you." He took another step. He was almost at the foot of the porch now, smelling of booze and sour sweat. "Get off my property," I said, my voice harder. "Now, or what?" That's when I showed the revolver in my belt. I didn't draw it. I just showed it. "Or I'll make you leave." The man stopped. He looked at the gun, then at me, trying to gauge whether I was serious or not. "Are you threatening a citizen?" "I'm defending my property. It's my right. I can call the police." "You can. And when they come, I'll tell them that you abandoned a girl in a barn to die eaten by rats." His face changed. The blood drained from his face. His eyes widened. How do you know that?" "I know what I need to know. You were there." "I was. And where is she?" "In a safe place, away from you." The man took a deep breath, the anger and fear fighting on his face. "She's my stepdaughter, my responsibility." "She was, not anymore. She's coming back with me." "She's not. You can't do anything." I put my hand on the handle of the revolver. "You can get in that truck and disappear from here, and if I find out you came back, if I find out you looked for her, if I find out you breathed near her, I'm coming to look for you. And then it won't be a conversation." We stared at each other. Two men measuring strength, but I had one thing he didn't have. I was on the right side. "This isn't going to stay like this," he finally said. "Yes, it is." He took another look at the house, as if looking for some sign of Anna. Then he spat on the ground and walked back to the truck. "You don't know who you're messing with, old man." "Yes, I do. With someone who abandons girls to die. Someone who isn't worth the ground he walks on." He got in the truck, slammed the door. He started the engine, made a sharp turn in the yard, and sped off. The red dust rose high, taking over everything. I stood on the porch until the truck disappeared on the road, until the sound of the engine was lost in the distance. Only then did I release the breath I was holding. "Anna," I called, "you can come out, he's gone." The door of the room opened slowly. Anna appeared, her face pale, her eyes wide. "He's really gone." "He is. And he won't be back?" "He won't be back." She ran to me, hugged me tight. She was trembling like a leaf in the wind. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you, John." "It's okay," I said, caressing her hair. "He's not going to hurt you anymore." But deep down I knew it wasn't over. A man like that doesn't give up easily, and when the anger cooled, when he had time to think, he would be back. Maybe with others, maybe with the police, maybe with lies that would make me look like the bad guy in the story. But at that moment, with Anna safe in my arms, with the feeling of having done the right thing, I felt stronger than I had felt in years. I had someone to protect again. I had a reason to fight, and that changed everything. 3 days had passed since the confrontation. 3 days of feigned peace, where every engine noise on the road made my heart race. Anna tried to hide it, but I saw the fear in her eyes every time a car passed in the distance. We didn't talk about it, but we both knew it wasn't over. It was Tuesday morning when the storm arrived, not the rainstorm. That hadn't shown its face around here yet. The storm that came was worse. I was in the corral, fixing a fence that the cattle had knocked down, when I saw the police car coming up the road. White car with the blue stripe, raising dust like a war flag. My stomach tightened. Anna was in the garden, trying to revive some lettuce heads that had survived the abandonment. When she saw the police car, she dropped the hoe and ran into the house, like a scared animal looking for a burrow. 2 police officers got out of the car, one older, pot-bellied, with the face of someone who had seen a lot of bad things in life. Another younger, skinny, with that way of wanting to prove service. "Good afternoon," said the older one, approaching. "Are you John Baptiste Santos?" "That's me. Sergeant Almeida from the Boulder Police. This here is Officer Rodriguez. We need to talk to you." "About what?" "About a complaint. Can I see your ID?" I took the wallet out of my pocket, handed over the ID. He looked, checked the name, returned it. "Do you know a guy named Edivaldo Pereira da Silva?" "No." "Are you sure?" "Man in his 50s, dark-skinned, kind of fat, drives a white truck." I knew him, yes. He was Anna's stepfather. But I wasn't going to confirm anything until I knew what story he had told. "Maybe I've seen him around." "Why?" "Because he made a serious complaint against you." The sergeant took a paper out of his pocket, unfolded it. "According to him, you allegedly kidnapped his stepdaughter, an underage girl named Ana Paula Ferreira da Silva." "Kidnapped?" "That's what he claims. Says the girl ran away from home and that he has information that she's here against her will." I felt the anger rise in my chest, but I controlled myself. It wasn't time to lose my temper. "And you believe him?" "We don't believe or disbelieve anyone. We investigate." The sergeant looked me straight in the eyes. "Is there any young woman in your house, Mr. Santos?" I took a deep breath. The moment of truth had arrived. "There is." "Underage?" "No, she's 19 years old, and she's here of her own free will." "She is. Can I talk to her?" I looked at the 2 police officers. The older one seemed honest. He looked like a family man, a man who knew the difference between right and wrong. The younger one was hard to read. "Anna," I called towards the house, "can you come here, please?" She took a while to appear. When she came out, she was pale, but firm. She came close to me, stood by my side. "Good afternoon, miss," said the sergeant. "Are you Ana Paula Ferreira da Silva?" "I am. How old are you?" 19. "Can you show me an ID?" Anna looked at me. I nodded. She went into the house, came back with the ID. The sergeant looked, checked the date of birth. Indeed, 19 years old. He returned the document. "Miss Anna, your stepfather says that you were kidnapped, that you're here against your will. Is that true?" "No," answered Anna, her voice firm. "I'm here because I want to be. No one forced you. No one. Mr. Santos didn't make any threats. Doesn't he keep you here by force?" "No, he saved me." The sergeant raised his eyebrow. "Saved you?" Anna took a deep breath. She looked at me, then at the police officers. "My stepfather tied me up in an abandoned barn and left me there to die. John found me and brought me here." "That's a serious accusation, miss." "It's the truth," the younger officer chimed in. "Do you have any way to prove that?" "I do." Anna rolled up her sleeves. The marks of the ropes were still there, purple on her skin. "And I have other marks too." The sergeant looked at the injuries, his expression changing. "When did this happen?" 8 days ago. He took me to the barn and said that the rats would take care of me. Why would he do such a thing? Anna lowered her eyes, shame burning on her face. Because I didn't let him do certain things to me." The sergeant understood right away. His face hardened. "I understand." He looked at the officer, then at me. "Mr. Santos, can you show us this barn?" "I can. It's about 2 miles from here. We'll take a look. Miss Anna, do you want to come along?" "I do." We all got in the police car. Anna sat next to me in the back seat. She was trembling a little but determined. She wanted the truth to come out. The way to the barn seemed longer this time. Anna showed me where to turn, where to stop. When we arrived, she stood for a while looking at the place before getting out of the car. "It's here," she said finally. We all went in together. The horrible smell was still there. The sergeant winced when he smelled it. Good Lord. Anna led us to the corner where she had been tied up. On the floor, you could still see the marks where she had struggled. Pieces of cut rope, stains of dried blood. "I was there," she said, pointing, "tied by the wrists and feet." The sergeant bent down, examined the ropes. He took a plastic bag out of his pocket, put a piece inside. "And the rats? They came at night, a lot of them. They gnawed my sandal, the hem of the dress." Anna shuddered. "I thought I was going to die here." The younger officer looked at everything with a face of disgust and disbelief. "How can someone do such a thing?" "Bad people do bad things," said the sergeant. "Unfortunately, it's not the first time I've seen this." We left the barn. Outside, the sun was strong, but it seemed cleaner than the air inside. "Mr. Santos," said the sergeant, "how did you know she was here?" I told the story. How I had accidentally passed by the old road, how I had heard the noise, how I had found Anna. "And what did you do?" "I brought her home. I took care of the injuries. I gave her food, shelter, what any decent person would do. And then, she told me the story. She decided to stay until she felt strong again." The sergeant shook his head. "Miss Anna, do you want to file a complaint against your stepfather?" "I do. It's a serious decision. You'll have to go to the police station, tell everything again, go through a physical examination. I'm going to do what it takes. And you, Mr. Santos? Are you going to confirm her testimony?" "I am." We went back to the ranch. On the porch of the house, the sergeant asked a few more questions. He wrote everything down in a small notepad. When he finished, he looked at the two of us. "Look, I'm going to be frank with you. From what I saw here, the complaint that this Edivaldo made is a lie. More than that, he's trying to use the police to threaten you. And now, texto da parte 3 aqui, já adaptado para inglês com a história se passando nos Estados Unidos. Now I'm going back to the station and open an investigation against him. Attempted murder, unlawful imprisonment, attempted sexual assault of a minor. It's going to be a long list." Anna sighed, relieved. "And as for you, Mr. Santos," the sergeant continued, "officially we didn't see anything wrong here. The girl is of age. She's here of her own free will. There's no crime. Thank you. But," he raised his finger, "this Edivaldo won't give up easily. A man like that doesn't accept defeat. You'll have to be careful. What do you suggest?" "Keep the doors locked. If he shows up here again, call us right away. And Miss Anna, it would be good if you regularized your situation. Get new documents, open a bank account, those things. Show that you have your own life. How do I do that? Come to the station tomorrow. We'll help with the procedures." The officers left shortly before sunset. Anna and I stayed on the porch, watching the dust settle on the road. "Do you think it will work out?" she asked. "I think so. The sergeant seems like an honest man. And if Edivaldo—" "Anna," I cut in, "stop worrying about him. You did the right thing. Now it's time to move on." She shook her head but still seemed worried. "John, what? Thank you. Again. For everything. You don't have to thank me for anything. You gave me a purpose. You made me feel useful again." Anna smiled, in that way that lit up her whole face. "Mary must have been very happy with you." "She was, and me with her. Do you think if she were here, it would approve of what you did for me?" I looked at Mary's photo on the living room table, which you could see from the porch. "I'm sure. Mary always helped those in need. It was her nature. Then she must have been a special woman. She was very special. We stayed there until it got dark, talking about life, about the future, about her plans. Anna talked about studying again, maybe taking a technical course. She wanted to work, to be independent. "You can stay here as long as you want," I said, "until you decide. And then you fly with your own wings. You're young, intelligent, the world is yours." "And you? Are you going to be alone again?" The question caught me off guard. That's what I was trying not to think about. The day Anna would leave, the day the house would be empty again. "I'll be fine. I always have been." "But you don't have to be alone." "What do you mean?" "There are so many good people in the world, so many people who could keep you company." "Anna, just don't close your heart, John. You have a lot of love to give." That night, lying in bed, I thought about her words. Was it true? Did I still have love to give? Or was all the love I had buried with Mary? Outside, an owl hooted in the maple tree. The wind swayed the curtains. And for the first time in 3 years, I allowed myself to think about the possibility of not being alone forever, not as man and woman, not as husband and wife, but as family, as people who care about each other, as father and daughter that destiny brought together. Because sometimes family is not just blood. Sometimes it's choice, it's care, it's love that is born from nothing and becomes everything. And maybe, just maybe, that's what was happening there. In the middle of the plains, between a widowed rancher and a girl who almost died eaten by rats, a new family, born of pain but growing in hope. But the biggest test was still missing. We still had to see if this family that was being born would be able to survive the storms that were still to come. And I had the feeling that the biggest of them was still forming on the horizon. 2 weeks had passed since the police visit. 2 weeks of calm that I didn't know if I trusted. Anna had gone to the police station 3 times, testified, had a physical examination. Sergeant Almeida kept us informed. The investigation against Edivaldo was moving forward, but slowly, like everything in justice. The man had disappeared from Boulder. Nobody knew where he was. "He probably went to Montana," said the sergeant in the last conversation. "He has relatives there, but we'll get him eventually." Anna seemed calmer. Not that the fear had gone away completely, but she was learning to live with it. To sleep without being startled. To laugh without looking over her shoulder. And the ranch was changing too. It was Anna who suggested replanting the garden. She said she wanted to learn to plant, that she always wanted to, but never had space in the city. We started slowly in a small garden. Lettuce, tomato, jalapeno, okra, things that Mary liked to plant. "The soil is very hard," said Anna on the first day, struggling with the hoe. "It's the drought, but underneath there's still life. It just needs care." We worked together, digging, fertilizing, planting. Anna learned fast. She had delicate but firm hands. She knew how to dose the strength, to respect the small seeds. "How long does it take to be born?" she asked after planting the first lettuce seedlings. "About 15 days, God willing, and the rain comes. And if it doesn't come, we water, we take care, we do what we can." It was working on the land that Anna began to tell more of her life. Of her mother, Donna, who worked in a clothing store and raised her alone until she was 12 years old. Of the father she never knew, who died in an accident when she was a baby. "My mom said he was a good man," Anna said, planting tomato seedlings. "Hard-working, honest. He dreamed of having a ranch one day." "Is that why you liked it here?" "Maybe. Or maybe it's because here I feel at home." The word hung in the air between us. Home. Not the brick and tile construction, but the place where we belong, where we can be who we are without fear. The weeks went by. The garden grew slowly, but it grew. Anna was right about having a knack for it. The plants seemed to respond to her care. They sprouted more beautiful, more vibrant. "You have a gift," I said one day, watching her water the beds. "Or the plants like me," she replied, smiling. "That must be it." It wasn't just the garden. Anna was changing the whole ranch. She tidied up the house, organized the closets, washed curtains that hadn't seen soap in years. She painted the fence of the chicken coop, repaired the screen that was torn. Always asking if she could, always respecting my space. "You don't have to ask permission for anything," I said one afternoon. "This house is yours too." "But it's your house, John, yours and Mary's. It was ours. Now it's ours again, yours and mine." Anna stopped sweeping the porch and looked at me. "Really? Really?" That's when she cried, not out of sadness, out of relief, out of gratitude, out of finally having a place in the world. "I never had a real home," she said between tears. "I always lived in other people's houses, my grandmother's, my stepfather's, always as a favor, always afraid of being sent away. Here you won't be sent away, never. Even when I grow up, when I get married, when I have my own family, even then, this will always be your home. I'll always be your family." That night, Anna threw a party in the kitchen. She cooked what she knew and what she didn't know. She made banana crumble, chicken with okra, papaya candy, real food made with love. "What is all this?" I asked when I came from the corral. "Celebration." "Of what?" "Of having a family." We sat down to dinner. The table set with care, a candle lit in the middle, a cloth napkin that Anna had found in the back of the closet. It seemed like a party day indeed. "You know what I was thinking?" said Anna, serving the crumble. "What?" "We could mess around in the back house, the one you used as a warehouse. Turn it into a real little room of mine." The back house. A small room that Mary used to store things from the market. Old clothes, broken utensils, junk that we didn't use but didn't have the courage to throw away. "Don't you like the room you're in?" "I do, but that's a guest room. I wanted a room of my own, with my things, my face." I understood. Anna wanted to take root. She wanted to set foot on the ground and say, "This is my place." "We can take a look," I said. The next day we went together to examine the back house. It was smaller than I remembered. A small window, burnished cement floor, tiled roof with a leak in 2 corners, but it had potential. "What are you seeing?" I asked. "A bed there in the corner, a dresser under the window, shelves on the wall for my books." "What books?" "The ones I'm going to buy. I always wanted to have a library, even a small one." We spent the rest of the week cleaning the room. We took out the old junk, put lime on the walls, repaired the leak. Anna insisted on helping with everything, even when I said it was heavy work. "I want to help," she said. "It's my room, my responsibility." Working together brought us even closer. I discovered that Anna was stubborn when she wanted something. I discovered that she was careful with the details, that she liked to do things well done. "Where did you learn to work like this?" I asked, watching her paint the window carefully. "From my mom. She said that everything worth doing is worth doing well." "Your mom was wise." "She was, in a lot of things." When we finished, the room was different. Small but cozy. Anna was right. It had her face now. Cheerful, organized, full of life. We bought a simple bed in town, a used wooden dresser, some things to decorate. Anna chose everything with care, as if choosing the pieces of her own destiny. "Now, only one thing is missing," she said, looking at the finished room. "What? Plants? Every room needs plants." We transplanted seedlings from the garden, some ferns that we found in the woods, wildflowers that Anna collected in the pasture. The room was green, alive, fragrant. "Now, yes," she said, satisfied. "Now it's mine." That night, Anna slept in the new room for the first time. I was worried, thinking she would feel isolated, alone. But in the morning she appeared in the kitchen singing softly. "Did you sleep well?" "Better than I've ever slept in my life." "Ooh, why?" "Because for the first time I slept in a bed that is mine, in a room that is mine, in a house that is mine." The days went by at a good pace. Anna took care of the garden, the house, the animals. I took care of the cattle, the pastures, the repairs that always appeared on a ranch. But we did everything together, talking, planning, dreaming. It was in one of those conversations that Anna asked me the question I didn't expect. "John, can I ask you something personal?" "You can." "Have you never thought about getting married again?" The question caught me off guard. I stopped messing with the engine of the water pump that I was disassembling. "Why do you ask that?" "Curiosity. You're a good man. Any woman would be happy with you." "I was already married to the best woman in the world." "But Mary died, John. You stayed alive." A heavy silence fell between us. Anna realized that she had touched a still sensitive wound. "Sorry, I shouldn't have." "No, it's okay." "It's a fair question." I went back to messing with the pump, but my thoughts were far away. "You know what the difference between you and me is, Anna?" "What?" "You're 19 years old. You have a whole life ahead of you. I'm 52. My life has already been lived." "That's not true." "Yes, it is. I had my chance to be happy. I was happy, very happy. Now I just have to wait for time to pass." Anna approached, sat on an old crate next to me. "You know what I think?" "What?" "I think you're scared." "Afraid of what?" "Of being happy again. Of betraying Mary's memory." I stopped messing with the pump. Her words had hit the mark. "Maybe you're right. Mary wouldn't want you unhappy for the rest of your life." "She wouldn't. So why do you punish yourself?" "I don't punish myself." "You do. You hide here in the middle of the woods, far from everyone, as if it were a crime to be alive." I looked at Anna. She looked back at me with those eyes that sometimes seemed older than mine. "When you arrived here," she continued, "I was dying inside. Literal. Tied up in that barn, waiting for the rats to kill me. You saved me. You gave me a new life. Anna, let me finish. Now I want to save you too. To give you a new life. To show you that you still have a lot to live." "What do you mean?" "Leaving this ranch, meeting people, living." "I live." "No, you don't. You survive. It's different." The conversation stayed in my head for days. Was Anna right? Was I just surviving, wasting the years I had left? It was on a Thursday that the answer came. Anna had gone to town to take care of some of the new documents. I was alone on the ranch, just like I used to be in the old days. But something was different. The silence didn't keep me company anymore. Without her voice singing in the kitchen, without her steps around the house, without her laughter in the yard, everything seemed empty again, dead again. That's when I understood. Anna hadn't just gained a family. She had given me a family too. She had given me a reason to wake up every day, a reason to take care of the house, of the ranch, of myself. When she returned from town in the late afternoon, I was waiting on the porch. "How was it?" I asked. "Good. I managed to get a new birth certificate. Now I can open a bank account, look for a job." "Work?" "Yeah. I can't keep depending on you forever." "Why not?" Anna looked at me surprised. "What do you mean? Why can't you stay here forever? This is your house. I am your family. You don't have to leave." "But John, I need my independence. I need to fend for myself." "You don't need anything. You can work from here. We can expand the garden, sell vegetables at the market. You can make sweets, preserves. There are 1,000 ways to make money without leaving here." Anna was quiet, thinking. "Are you sure?" "I am, more than sure." "But what about when I want to date, to get married?" "When it happens, we'll talk. But it doesn't have to be now. You're young. You have time. And you? Are you going to be alone forever?" The question I didn't want to come out. "I don't know. Maybe not. You made me see that I still have things to live for." Anna smiled. "In that way, that lit up everything. Then it's a deal. I'll stay and you stop hiding." "Deal." That night we had dinner on the porch watching the sun set behind the hills. The cattle returned slowly from the pasture, the bell of the lead cow ringing softly. The chickens went to the roost, all at peace. "John," said Anna, breaking the silence. "Thank you." "For what now?" "For teaching me that family isn't just blood. It's choice. It's care. It's love that we plant and see grow. I looked at her. The girl I had found tied up in a barn, almost dead, had become a strong woman, master of herself, and she transformed me too. She made me remember that being alive isn't just breathing. It's dreaming, it's caring, it's loving. Thank you, I said. Why? Because you taught me that life doesn't end when we lose someone, that we can always start over, that there's always room for love to grow. We stayed there until it got dark, listening to the crickets chirping, feeling the cool night wind. Two survivors who had found each other in the middle of nowhere and built something beautiful together. A family, a home, a future. 3 months later, Anna opened the account at the bank with the money she earned, selling vegetables at the farmer's market. 6 months later, she enrolled in an agricultural correspondence course. A year later, our garden was the most sought after in the region. And me? I came back to life, for real. I started going to church again, visiting the neighbors, participating in community life. I met new people. I made friends. And who knows, one day who knows. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that I learned a fundamental thing. Love doesn't end. It transforms, it multiplies, it renews itself. The 200-acre ranch remained the same, but everything had changed. The red earth that once seemed dry and dead now flourished green, like my heart. Because sometimes all it takes is one person, a person who needs us and who we need. A person who teaches us that family is much more than blood. It's choice, it's care, it's love planted in the hard earth that, with patience and affection, always ends up sprouting. And when it sprouts, it transforms everything: the earth, the house, the life, the heart. Today, as I write these words on the porch of our house, I see Anna watering the garden in the late afternoon. She sings softly a song that I don't know, but that makes me smile. In the distance, the cattle graze peacefully. The chickens scratch in the yard, all at peace. On the horizon, dark clouds form. It may rain today. After months of drought, the rain may finally arrive. And if it arrives, we will both go out to the yard. We'll stand there with open arms, letting the water wash away the red dust, washing away the pain of the past, watering the hope of the future. Because we have learned that after the storm always comes the calm, after the drought the rain always comes, after the pain love can always come. Always. And that's enough. That's all.